Hello. I have a story to share. So, it's so amazing because I had this vision for myself to speak on stages someday. That's actually been my dream like all along. Like when I was starting my business and like you do those visioning techniques of like what do you want to create in your business? And I always saw myself like standing on a stage and speaking to large crowds of people. That's like my ultimate dream, right? And so now that I'm a certain place in my personal development, in my business, like I have a foundation in my business of what I'm creating, what I'm offering, and now I can build on that with speaking on stages. So it's like quickly becoming a reality, which is so exciting. um but also like when we start to step into like these next phases of like what we want to create in our life, it kicks off personal growth, right? Because in order for you to live and be and have like the things that you desire, you need to become that version of you. Otherwise, if you weren't that version of you already, you would have that in your life. So it kicks off a phase of personal growth, right? so now I have an opportunity to speak on a stage in New York City at Columbia University. And when the opportunity was first presented to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like I could be speaking on stages, like this could be real. And so obviously like I want to take that opportunity because it's been my dream, but also like when that opportunity was first presented to me, it kicked off like fear, right? Like, oh my gosh, like can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Like, am I going to be able to do this? And then also that feeling of like unworthiness, like do I feel like I could be the person like standing up on a stage and speaking to an audience? Like can that be me? Like so it feels like in your mind that's what you want, but the feeling is it doesn't feel clear and aligned because you feel like you're not that person yet. Okay, so that's part one. You have this vision, you know what you want, but you feel that resistance to it, right? Because of unworthiness, because you don't feel like you're that version of you yet who can do that. Okay, so that's phase one. Phase two is the personal growth kicks off because, like, you as a creator of your own reality, you've set your intention, you know what you want to create, and now you're going to manifest experiences in your life to be able to become a new person through those experiences so that you can become that version of you who can do the thing you want to do or have the thing that you want to have in your life. So that's what happens. A phase of personal growth happens. So for me, the huge shift in personal growth happened when I had, drum roll, I had my first successful sales call. Because if you're like new to the coaching industry or you've been in the coaching industry for a while, or you're thinking becoming a coach or whatever, you know that like sales is hard, right? Because you as a person who's offering something that you sell and like you get on the phone with someone, it can feel very like scary and intimidating because of all these attachments we have, right? This is where the big personal growth happens, is when you can have a successful sales call, right? Because we tend to bring our own shit to the call, right? Like we tend to bring our attachment to the sale, like making it about us, right? Like, and if they don't buy, then it means something about us. Like, we tend to bring in all those insecurities to calls because it's a vulnerable place to be like, hey, I'm offering this, and it's like an opportunity for your fear of rejection to get triggered. So that's what it was for me for a long time. Like, I never had a successful sales call. I made sales by doing like live trainings, 3-day live trainings, in my group, like my community of people who like are wanting this in their lives. And then I give a free 3-day training, give lots of value and transformations. And then by the end of it, I give them the next step, which is my program. So that's how I've been making sales. But sales calls, like I would always just kind of get in the way of having a successful sales call because like I'm too, in my head, like talking too much, not giving them the space to really like be in their own energy and make a confident decision, right? Because I was too letting my stuff get in the way of being able to hold that space for the person on the call. Okay, so this major shift happened just very recently when I had my first successful sales call. And this was the phase of personal growth. This was the opportunity, like the window of opportunity for me to radically shift within myself in order to become a new version of me who's able to speak on stages and feels like she can speak on stages and feels worthy of it and feels confident in it and feels ready for this opportunity, right? So basically what happened on the sales call is like, and this is like for any opportunity in your life, like, you know, that you want in your life, then comes the personal growth. So when you're in the situation, the opportunity of personal growth, it's being consciously aware of your tendency to shift into your old patterns, bringing that conscious awareness to it, and then choosing to respond in a new way. Choosing to respond in the way of the version of you who you're becoming. So that's what I did. Like I was aware of my tendency to want to be like, okay, I'm gonna over explain everything in the program and attach to the outcome, but I was like, okay, I'm being aware that this is where my tendency is, but I'm choosing to ground myself. I'm choosing to focus on what this person needs right now, the space that I'm holding for this person. I'm choosing to listen to what they're saying and make sure I really understand what they're saying. Like, and every time I felt that tendency to want to shift back into my old way of responding, I would consciously choose to respond in this new way. And so it's like, yes, it's hard. It takes conscious awareness and it takes choice, right? So this is the thing about personal growth. Like, you're not growing just for the sake of like, okay, like, let me choose to respond in a new way. Like, for a lot of people, it's like, okay, that's really hard, and then they just don't do it. Like, I know. I totally know, because, yes, like, it's when you, like, know that there's an opportunity for growth, but it's just, like, way too hard, and you just don't do it. But the reason why, like, growth becomes easy, in my opinion, is because you're growing for the sake of becoming a new version of you, because you have a vision and an intention set. Like, my vision and intention is to be able to speak on stages. So I'm able to grow in the opportunity of growth. I'm able to make that shift because I know why I'm growing. If you're just growing by escaping pain, like if you're like, I don't want to feel this pain in my life, I don't want these insecurities to come up, like, and you're just like, I want those to go away, you will never be able to really make the shifts. That's why people are like on the healing cycles forever, because I was there too, like healing and never really being able to like make the deep lasting shifts, because you're trying to escape pain. But if you set an intention to where you want to go, to the person you want to become, so that you can have the things that you want in your life, then you're able to make the shifts when those opportunities arise, because you know why you're growing, because you know where you're headed, because you want to manifest those things in your life. You want to become that new version of you. And so then in these opportunities, like back to my example, I was able to make that shift. And then I was able to see like the results of me making that shift, which was like someone actually committing to investing in themselves and joining the program. And so once that was a reality, like concrete physical result of my shift was me being able to make a sale on a sales call, then like that's when, you know, people say like you have to heal your childhood traumas and all the things. Like all of that healing happens in an instant when you make that shift. Because I was able to shift the way I responded on the sales call. I was able to see the physical results of me making that shift. And when that became concrete and a reality, all those emotions came up and were felt and released, right? I was just crying, not because of like sadness, not because of, I don't know. I was just releasing. I was just letting out everything that was associated with that unworthiness, the unworthiness of like everything that was associated of like everything that was attached to my old reactions of how I would react in sales calls and how I wouldn't be able to respond in this new way that I'm now responding. Like all of the associated emotions with that came up to be released. And now I have become a new person. And now I feel like I could just speak on stages. I feel worthy of that opportunity. I'm like ready to take this opportunity to speak on that stage in New York City. Like, it doesn't feel out of reach anymore. I don't feel unworthy of it. I feel ready for it. I feel like open and free, and it feels clear, right? That resistance isn't there anymore because I used that window of opportunity to grow, responded differently, saw the physical like fruits of my shifting. And then I was able to release all the associated emotions, right? So this is like the healing world has this thing of like, you have to process your emotions and you have to heal and do all this stuff. But like, this is what I'm saying. If you're doing it from a place of escaping pain, you'll never be able to make the shift. Also, if you're processing emotions for the sake of processing emotions, you're stuck in an endless cycle of always processing more and more emotions, right? But when you're able to attach to an expansive intention to where you want to be, you know who you're becoming. You have this idea in your mind of where you want to go. You feel the resistance there, but then because you know where you're going, the opportunity to grow presents itself to you, and then you create conscious awareness. You realize within you how you want to slip back into your old pattern of responding, but you choose to respond in a new way. Then you anchor yourself into this new way of being. You see the physical results of you responding in this new way, and then that catalyzes for you to process, shift, release, feel everything that needs to come up to be felt, and then boom, you're a new person.